Monterey Bay, California, an area known for its mesmerizing deep blue water, peppered with sea vessels and vibrant wildlife everywhere you look. Its beauty can easily be admired from ashore, but visitors know the real treat is in far deeper waters.
Okay guys, got a status update for you here. We know that less than 1.3 miles away from us, that's going to be a very good time for all of you to start helping us out. Be looking in all directions. These things could pop up anywhere.
11 o'clock. Here he is.
Each day, thousands take whale watching tours to try and get a glimpse of some of the world's largest mammals alive, and they're never disappointed.
Wow.
These larger-than-life creatures put on a show, flashing their flukes and breaching the water. But not all whales have this luxury. For some, every minute is a struggle for survival, especially if they've been entangled. Whales get wrapped up in fishermen's lines or nets and are unable to break free. Some drag this gear for hundreds of miles, while others may be tangled so badly that they can't even move. This is not a new phenomenon on the West Coast. Reports have been flowing in since the early 1980s, and it's getting worse.
There are three elements involved with the rise of entanglements. One is the rise in whale population itself. These animals were killed to near extinction. Now, the humpbacks are just hundreds of them, if not thousands of them, all up and down the coast. Another reason is that the intensity of the fishery has also gone up. And with some of the changes in the ocean climate over the years, the fishing practices have changed, and that has created a higher impact.
Heightened awareness has also led to the recent increase. More people are actively looking for whales in distress, which means more reports in the area. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA for short, the number of instances has been rising over the last 3 years, reaching a record high of 71 entanglements last year. That's about 6 per month. This year, before fishing season even started, there were 34 reported cases.
It's been an issue that's been getting worse over the last few years. It's caused a lot of concern for the agencies, and then for Fish and Wildlife, NOAA Fisheries, and of course for fishermen who are dealing with the entangled gear as well.
Get that line, push it under when you guys are wide.
Humpback and gray whales are the main victims of entanglement. They often get their fluke, mouth, pectoral fins, or body wrapped up in fishing lines that heavily restrict their movement. As the whales attempt to break free, the line often slices deeper and deeper into the animal as it struggles. At this point, the whale will most likely die.
These animals are salient beings with feelings, and we're putting crap in the water that hurts them, kills a bunch of them, and we need to reduce that.
There's only 4 people on the West Coast qualified to cut whales free in this situation, and Peter Falkins is one of them.
We have a series of custom designed and made knives. Some of them are flying knives, meaning they disconnect from the pole. We have net rippers. We have Spyderco custom made what they call whale knives. Oftentimes the line that's wrapped around the whale is under tension. And so all we have to do is nick that and then the whole thing comes apart.
With its tightly woven polypropylene fabric, Dungeness crab gear has become the biggest culprit in this issue. Last year, crab lines alone accounted for more reported entanglements than any other form of fishing on the West Coast. This has put crab fishermen under pressure.
I really rely on Dungeness crab fishing in this particular area.
Calder Dyerly is a Dungeness crab fisherman that comes from a fishing family which owns a restaurant and processing plant. It's his livelihood.
How I attach the trailer and diver buoy.
He has firsthand experience with an entangled whale and knows that if numbers continue to skyrocket, it could spell trouble for his industry.
Fishing really supports my whole family in that without the first link to the supply chain, which is going to catch the fish, the other businesses can't operate as they should. And in the end consumer would really suffer because we're really out there to catch the best quality food I think you can possibly eat.
To search for a solution, Dyerly joined a multi-agency working group made up of fishermen, disentanglers, environmentalists, and state and federal regulators.
Fishermen are becoming just much more aware of this issue. And so, when they're setting pots, they're looking around to see if there are whales. So if there's a bunch of whales feeding nearby, they're not going to set their pots there. We need fishermen to fish. Everybody wants crab and loves crab. So we've got to figure out a way to find some balance.
So far this year, fewer whales have been entangled in crab gear, and that number is expected to go down further. But not everyone is impressed. The Center for Biological Diversity, a former group member, decided to bring on a lawsuit in early October, which aims to restrict the amount of crab gear in Monterey Bay.
Essentially, the lawsuit is suing the California Fish and Wildlife Department, saying that any entanglements that happen in state waters from this fishery are illegal, and there could be consequences down the line if things don't improve.
I think what will affect me is whatever the judge's decision is that comes out of this lawsuit, and that really scares me because I don't want to leave the decision of what to do about whale entanglements up to a person or a group of people who don't have as good of an idea of what's going on with the cause of entanglements as the working group has.
The fishery is well aware of the concerns, and they realize that this year is going to be the year when all eyes are going to be on them. And so they want to have a successful fishing year, but they also want to have no entanglements.
Currently, everything's looking good. Hopefully they won't be interacting in areas with crab gear quite as often.
November 15th marked the beginning of crab season, and there's been no whales entangled thus far. If this continues, things could be looking up for all West Coast fishermen moving forward.